National Industrial Security Program contractors will now be able to use a digital signature to sign the SF-312. Hi, this is Lindy with ClearanceJobs.com. That was an update that came out, I think, in February through DCSA. It's worth highlighting because we get a few questions about the SF-312 or security clearance non-disclosure agreements. Typically comes down to, hey, is this form legit that I've been asked to fill out? And when do I fill it out? So the SF-312, again, specifically is outlining the non-disclosure agreements related to classified information. Should be some type of a briefing involved or information around, hey, have you been made aware of what you're going to be protecting, what you might have access to, and what your eligibility means in terms of there are repercussions, again, in that SF-312 as to what could happen if you disclose security clearance information, classified information, whether that disclosure is intentional or not. So it's just worth knowing what you're signing on to and reminding yourself to be cautious of what you have access to and how you handle that protected classified information. Again, being able to sign the SF-312 in person or digitally has been a topic of conversation and contention, getting a lot of questions about. One of those COVID provisions allowed for some digital signatures of a variety of different documents within the federal government. The SF-312, digital signatures have been allowed in some cases, but by and large, for the most part, folks have been signing those forms in person. Again, this update specific to NISP program contractors, which is industrial security contractors, so the contract workforce now has that allowance where they can have digital signatures. Does that necessarily mean that your contractor is going to allow you to sign the form digitally? No, it just means they have the option or opportunity to. That's great, especially for disparate workforces to be able to sign digitally. So maybe your clearance eligibility is granted, you're already on site at a different location than your security officer. It's going to be way easier to certify digitally than to certify in person. Again, DCSA outlines provisions, guidance for contractors in terms of what is required there when it comes to, hey, I'm getting a digital signature. Witness is obviously not a part of that. The digital signature is authorizing that. CAT card is what needs to be used to authorize that. So all of it's outlined there. We won't go into that. But again, yes, the SF-312 is a legitimate form. Yes, you now have the option if you're a contractor to sign that form digitally. Will you sign it digitally? It totally depends on the contractor. So you might have a wet signature, you might have a digital signature. Again, it's going to be dependent on the employer. But again, what the guidance from DCSA through DOD provides is that, hey, you can have a digital signature for that. And I always say is just because you can sign it digitally, don't do what I do when I get something to sign and just go to the end and sign. If you're getting a security clearance, that's really important. So hopefully for security officers getting this, just because you can get your workforces to sign digitally, doesn't mean you should phone it in, just send them an email and assume they know what's going on. Get on the phone, maybe go over the form with them, schedule a Teams meeting, go over what's included on that form. Again, one ignorant former security clearance holder to another. When you're starting into the federal government or as a contractor, you don't always understand the gravity of what you're doing or the gravity of classified information. It's all too easy for all of us to get sloppy. So I always say start strong, start with understanding the SF-312 and what those non-disclosure agreements are. The job of protecting classified information is important. So it's a simple, it can be a check the box kind of a thing to be like, hey, I did the training, I made this person aware, but really making sure they understand it, even if you have that option to just send it to them and have them sign it digitally. So again, SF-312, it is a form that is a part of the security clearance process. You sign that form when you get your eligibility, and it should arrive before you actually have access to anything. Again, it creates those parameters saying, hey, I have access to information, and this is what's going to happen if I disclose it. Whether I intend to or not, you got to protect that information. So for more on the SF-312, the SF-86, all of the SFs, all of the security clearance forms and applications, how to protect classified information, visit us over at ClearanceJobs.com.